welcome to the cab, lads.
Thanks for having us.
I don't travel in cabs normally, but it's quite nice. Particularly the company.
It is good company, isn't it? We're making an Ian sandwich. So,
we're in the West End of London, is that right?
That's where we are right now. But you've been living in London pretty much your whole life, right?
Well, I live just outside of London, so it's always been a stone's throw for me. I kind of stumbled on the London gay scene when I was about 13, 14. I came to stage school in London, so...
Was that before you came out?
So, I don't think I've ever been in. It's never really been a thing. Like, from doing theatre and acting and singing and stuff like that, I've always been surrounded by a lot of gay people. My mum's a dance teacher, so she had a lot of friends, and I was doing pantomime from the age of 6. And the chorus
she was
members
trying
were
to
gay.
make you gay,
But
wasn't
my mum's got very strong genes, so it's nature and nurture all in one.
We're coming up to one of your haunts.
Yes, this
the
is it.
The Astoria,
which isn't there, which is so great because I only got to experience it once.
So it's been knocked down for Crossrail.
Only once I went. The one and only time was when
who was on?
I couldn't remember. I got so drunk on cider.
Are you sure it wasn't you?
I was on the stage. I just remember being on. It wasn't the stage in the middle of the old Astoria. Remember
they would
this
have
massive
loved you
podium.
in there.
Well, I would have loved. I've done GAY Heaven, but I would have. It's just such a iconic place, and I remember my mum used to work in a newsagents as well, and I remember used to taking Gay Times and Attitude magazine off the top shelf when no one was watching and reading it at the back of the shop. I remember seeing a story in GAY and all the performers being at GAY and all this and being like,
so you knew you had to go there.
And I'm so glad I did, because I think there's so many people, as much as GAY in Heaven is still existing, I think there's something about the history of Astoria that a lot of young people won't get to.
Do you think where we are now that there's less need for the young Jaymi to have places in London that he can go and be gay?
Absolutely not. I think it's something that we really as a community need to be careful that we don't lose.
I see.
When you came to London, obviously many years before Jaymi, what did you find when you came here? Were there gay bars? Were there places you could go and find guys and drink and have fun?
I don't think I went into a gay bar until I was 50 years old. But no sooner was I in London than I was hitched up with a friend who lived a monogamous marriage, really.
Wow. What would have happened back then if you did hold hands with him walking down the street?
You'd probably be stopped by a policeman if there's wrong going by saying, watch it, mate, because if somebody throws something at you because they don't like it, it'll be your fault. You will have been provoking them.
You shouldn't have been doing.
So you're always victimised, but it was perfectly possible then to live in public life and go everywhere with my boyfriend on holiday and fine. I didn't see why we needed gay rights. I didn't see why we needed gay bars. If we went out in the evening, we usually went round to someone's house. So I was living the life of a straight man who was gay, actually.
Right. But then you became such an activist. What changed it?
Well, I started fighting for me when I was a boy, and all the things that I wasn't allowed to have, like role models and knowledge about myself and awareness of where I fitted into history and the possibility of not being second rate, which is what the law said I was. I think I was 28 before I could legally have sex.
Wow.
And that, if you're a nice lad who does what he's told and obeys the law, you take that rather seriously. And so the law is encouraging you to hate yourself.
And I can only say from my perspective, from my generation, having people like yourself and being able to watch Paul O'Grady as Lily Savage every Saturday.
That was my only...
with my mum.
Very important.
I remember Will Young winning Pop Idol, and I loved Will Young and him being gay, and I was just like, I was so lucky to have role models that I feel like
you can be both gay and successful and happy at the same time. What? Yeah. Oh my God.
Which is something that I think a lot of people really don't generally believe they can.
Did you have any of those kind of role models growing up? None. Not one?
No.
Wow.
You could occasionally read about the gay experience in the tawdry pages of the News of the World, where some poor married vicar had been fiddling with choir boys.
Okay.
That's what it was. And you thought, am I that sort of person?
Am I a bad person for being who I am?
So it was awful, and not even in history, where there are some wonderful gay people. Once you start looking, they were never mentioned. One of the people who could have been a role model of sorts, although he's pretty dodgy, would be Oscar Wilde.
Sure, of course.
Your countryman who got out of Dublin, to come and meet all the boys in London, perhaps.
Like me?
There you go.
Following in his footsteps.
But he was, of course, married and had children of his own, but was having sex on the side with a few people, some of whom he clearly loved, and So there's a little statue to him now, and I was on the committee that got it built, and we got Maggie Hamling, famous lesbian, to design it. It's a beautiful thing. And where should it go? Where should we put it? Where should we put it? Well, what I knew, it was exactly halfway between the old gay bar at the top of the little alleyway where they put it and Heaven nightclub. And I thought, well, that's a whole generations of gay boys are going to say, I'll meet you at Oscars.
Yes. Halfway to heaven, Oscar.
Halfway to heaven. But now we're going to go to...
We're going to Heaven nightclub, which was a
seminal for you.
For me in London, when I moved here, I had only experienced pretty small gay scene in Dublin, and then I walked into Heaven on a Saturday night, and it was like, okay, I found my people. Do you still go out, Ian? To gay bars?
Go out to
gay bars?
No, not really. Unless I'm abroad, which is the first place I say, where's the latest gay bar?
Yeah.
Find the local drag queen.
Well, you pick up a sense of what it would be like to live that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But here, well, my life is gay, and my friends are gay.
Everything's gay.
I don't need to go somewhere looking for gay people.
Yeah.
But me going down to Heaven, even if I'm sitting in the VIP section, it's a bit unseemly, don't you think?
In what sense?
Unless you were to take me one.
We'll go.
Yeah.
Next Saturday, babe.
Can you imagine?
We're off.
Hi! So you used to go to Heaven all those years ago after Stonewall meetings?
No, before there was such a thing as Stonewall, we used to come here, the people who were starting it, to imagine how we would do it and the laws we wanted to change and so on. Sometimes meet in people's houses, but as often as not, we met in the Star Bar here. Richard Branson, who owned it, let us come in.
Richard Branson owned Heaven?
Yep, and we'd sit around talking.
Wow.
And then at about 11 o'clock, we'd hear the music starting and the glamour boys arriving, and we'd stay on or not, and that was it. So,
is that why it's called the Departure Lounge then? The little VIP area is called the Departure Lounge, isn't it?
I wonder why.
Hello, how are you doing? Nice to see you.
How are you?
Okay, thank you. What's going on tonight?
We've got a gig, then afterwards is Porn Idol.
Oh yeah, Porn Idol on a Thursday. It's where people get naked on stage for money.
You're going to charge it?
It's £300. Do you want to do it? It's £300 in the pocket.
To do it? Oh, if you win.
No, to get naked on stage, everyone gets it.
You'll probably win it.
We'll
make sure you win it.
Come on, let's go. Come on, we'll do it.
I have done it.
Jaymi, your mum found out that you're gay in a kind of a unfortunate way.
Yeah, someone sent me quite an explicit photo, and it was on the computer, and I didn't
remember it. No,
I can't exactly remember what it looked like, but I didn't know how to get rid of photos and stuff like that, and I didn't realise that when you save something, it went to the computer, and so my mum's gone on there, she's come downstairs, and she's livid, and I'm like, what have I done? I don't understand. I can't work out why she's angry. But she thought it was me, and she thought I'd taken a picture and had sent it to someone, so she was so livid because she was like, you don't know who the other end of the line is, you don't know this. And my first reaction was, oh no, it's fine, it's not me, some boy sent it to me. Then realised it.
What you would say?
I was like, oh no. No, it was me. I've sent it to a girl, but I outed myself by being like, no, it's not me, a guy sent it to me. And then,
How old was it?
I think I was probably about 15 years old. About 15 probably then.
And Ian, your story is completely different. You came out at 49?
49.
And what was that like in comparison to Jaymi's story?
Well, as I said earlier, I was leading a very happy gay life with another man, and I wasn't closeted to anybody I knew or worked for or worked with. The only two elements of my life I hadn't talked about being gay, when I had to come out, was my close blood family.
Right.
So I came out in a radio program when we were trying to get rid of Section 28, and then I had to very quickly, before that was broadcast, go around and tell my family. Of course, they said, but they'd all known. They'd been talking about it for years now.
You're like, oh, come on.
Everyone's always worried about other people and the other people, and actually not worried at all.
I want to talk to you about Pride. What's the importance of Pride now? Obviously, back in the day, it was super political, and it was in order to fight a lot of battles.
Still should be. There are battles to be won. Yeah.
What battles are we fighting for now?
Well, we want to put our hand in the back of politicians who are weak on the subject, like the current Prime Minister, and make sure that our embassies abroad are sticking up for gay people who live in those countries, as well as the gay members of staff, and they are doing that. But I think that politically, and just as a simple matter of common sense of being nice to each other, that a young person or an old person, confused about themselves or lonely or feeling that they don't belong, can just see all these people
I feel connected.
enjoying themselves, in half of them with their clothes off, half of them with their clothes on, sometimes with their dogs, sometimes with their kids. All humanities there, and they can just feel better about themselves.
And I think it's about education as well. Like, I think a local drag queen to ours, Betty Buss, she's the most fabulous woman, but is an airport trimmer. She trims planes and lives a man's life, Steve, outside of it. But used to have to get ready in her car with her makeup, run dressed as a man with a full face of drag, knock on a door, open a peephole, say a password, and go in. And she many a time would got beaten up going back to her car by people. That my generation, and especially generation below us, will never know those hardships. And I think it's really important that Pride still celebrates.
Unless, of course, they go to countries where that sort of thing goes on.
Absolutely, of course. But I mean,
Chechnya
here,
and the rest. But
we
here,
need to still make everyone know, and that's why Pride's still important for young people to be involved in. That we still need to fight for our rights. We need to prove that we are equal.
Well, I think there's nothing quite like your first Pride when you step out into a place like Trafalgar Square and you see thousands of people like yourself.
Yeah.
And for the first time in your life as a young gay person, you feel like you're normal.
but your first Pride may not be on the march, and the march is very important. It's just someone on the barricades watching. That might be their first Pride. It doesn't matter how old they are.
And they haven't got the confidence to step in.
And sometimes if you walk along and you see somebody, you go and talk to them, an old person, and they say, "This is my husband. We just got married. We've been living together for 50 years." Oh, God bless their hearts. But they're not marching. They're just watching.
Mm-hmm. Well, visibility is everything, isn't it? For the allies as well.
Out.
Out.
There will be people on Pride March who may be living a gay lifestyle for years, but actually it's being on the march, being at that weekend, they actually are coming out. It's the first time they've worn what they're wearing in public.
It's a big
felt-
deal.
That's what changed me. That's what made me proud. I'd been gay and I knew it was okay to be gay, but going to Pride and being part of something bigger than myself, being part of it being bigger than me.
Now this happened before Union J.
Yeah, I mean, I was out already. I'd been out for 8 years.
Did you have to have that conversation with the management?
So I had the X Factor had the conversation at the very beginning of the competition when we got through. They sat me down and said how and they were phenomenal.
Okay.
They're ITV, Simon, X Factor. They were so amazing. And they said, how do you want to approach this? And I said, look, I don't want to fit the mould of being the gay boy band member. I want to be taken seriously for my voice, and I don't want to take away from my band, and I wanted to do that. I just dropped it out in the middle of a band interview.
Oh, I say that journalist loved you that day.
Well, he did. But and when they asked me how they wanted to promote it, and I said, I don't want it to be front page. I don't want it to be anywhere. It ended up there in page 38 of something. Because it wasn't a big thing, but it was to address it on a national front. And it was really weird having a second coming out. Because I'd been out, been very comfortable, but
then you were famous.
It's weird.
Well,
it's weird.
But you never stop. Trust me, at 78, coming out.
No, ever.
You can be in a cab
Really?
at 3 o'clock in the morning, going home, and he says, and the cabbie starts asking if you got any grandchildren, and you think, oh my God.
Here we go.
Have I got enough time?
Yeah.
Why I don't have grandchildren.
Right.
But the last time I said, no, mate, I don't have grandchildren because when I could have got married, I couldn't have done because I was gay and I didn't want children anyway. He said, oh, are you gay? I'm gay too, he said.
Oh, brilliant.
So, yes, so what was I frightened of?
Yes.
What was I nervous about?
Absolutely.